Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Nayuri Tryman, and it is my pleasure to serve as the president for the SEAHO 2021 conference. And so, as president, it is one of my duties to officially start the conference. And so, with a bang on my desk, on my gavel that you cannot see, we will officially bring the meeting to order, or bring the conference to beginning. So this is our 57th annual SEAHO, albeit this one is a little bit different. We're not in person, we're not hugging each other's necks. We're not able to grab a adult beverage or a non-adult beverage after the regular things are done, but it is still a SEAHO nonetheless. And the people are still here, even if they are on the screen. So I am excited to have this happen for, again, the 57th time in a row. I want to start out with a couple of thank yous, obviously to Ben Wicker and his host team. This won't be the last time that you'll hear me say this, but they have done a phenomenal job in putting together what I think is going to be a quality conference. And so I challenge them and ask them to think outside of the box. And I would tell you that they have certainly done that. Another highlight for this year, this is the second year for placement happening. We have 35 employers and a multitude of jobs that have been posted. And so even though, again, we are in a virtual space, the business continues and people continue to find jobs, and SEAHO continues to be a conduit for that to happen. I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to our corporate partners. One of the things that we thought about when we made the decision to go virtual was, how do we do this conference in a virtual environment? And we thought, are we going to have our friends and corporate partners, will they be with us? Will they support us in this type of environment? And the answer was a resounding yes. They have shown up in ways that we didn't imagine. They have called us to say, how can we support? And I am so appreciative of each and every one of them who's going to be with us during this time. A shameless plug, please make sure that you take some time to stop by and see them. I think Katie Lewis is going to call each and every last one of their names, but again, be cognizant of that, and please make sure that you stop by and see them. We couldn't do it without them, so we certainly appreciate them. So the great orator and activist James Baldwin said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. And so I am excited of how we as an organization have faced the pandemic. I'm excited of the pivots that we've made, of the changes that have taken place. And I'm excited that we have right at 1,000 people who are registered for this SEAHO. So that makes this the largest SEAHO ever. And so I'm excited about that. And again, when I say the team of Ben Wicker and his team, host committee team, have risen to the occasion, they have certainly risen to the occasion. I am hoping during this conference that you will engage in learning, that you'll challenge yourself to step out of the comfort zone. It's not as awkward on one side since you're behind the screen, but then again, it is as awkward because you are behind the screen. But put yourself out there, send someone a note, figure out some way to have a targeted reach out, and make the most of the awkwardness, embrace it. And I'm looking forward to the day when we'll be back in person in Asheville next year. I'm claiming it, Bob, or wherever you're at, and we're going to be there, and I'll be able to hug everybody's neck and even beyond. So thank you again for taking time out of your schedules. Thank you that you're here. There are certainly other places that you could have been, but we appreciate you taking this ride, taking this journey with us. And even in the times when we, as my mom would say, would bump the stump a little bit in this experience, we ask that you hang in there with us. So thank you again to everybody for being here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I hope this experience is great for you. Now, with those few words of welcome and introduction out of the way, I am going to pass it to conference coordinator, Mr. Ben Wicker from Georgia Southern University, who will bring some additional words.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, SEAHO, and welcome to SEAHO 2021, Anchored by History, Creating New Legacies. On behalf of the host committee, we are so glad to have you all gathered here virtually today and over the next 3 days. So we'll go ahead and address the obvious, right, and then leave it in the past. We all hoped we'd be presently in Charleston, South Carolina, having enjoyed a delicious low country lunch as we begin this conference. We're not, and we've all been working through, suffering in, and navigating the pandemic world for nearly the past year. Please know that we feel you. We know the tremendous impact our recent history has had on you, on our students, and our field. I'm thankful to Dr. Natalie Recker, Dylan Rufra, and the SEAHO Planning Group for their work to begin the meaningful programmatic and thoughtful sessions that we had yesterday related to the pandemic. So now to the present. So you are actively participating in SEAHO history today. You are attending the first ever completely virtual conference in our association's nearly 60-year history. You are among the largest delegation to ever attend a SEAHO conference. We anticipate that over 1,000 colleagues and professionals from almost 170 institutions from across our region and the country will participate in SEAHO 2021 over the next 3 days. Hi everybody, welcome back. Sorry about that. Like I was saying, this is our first ever virtual conference. We will look to get the slideshow back up here in just a minute, but because we are running on a pretty tight time schedule of trying to get everything included this morning, we're going to keep on going. What I was saying prior to technology getting the best of us was that we do anticipate over 1,000 colleagues and professionals from almost 170 institutions from across our region and across the country to participate in this year's conference over the next 3 days. Because we were not able to fit this conference into SEAHO's annual conference model, things will obviously look different than many of us are used to seeing. I can promise you, again, working through these technical issues. Before we go a little bit further, you'll see that I've enabled live transcript for those who need it. If you would like to turn that off, you'll see the live transcript button down at the bottom. You can click the caret and hit hide subtitles if you would like to turn off that feature. So I can promise you a few things about this conference. I can promise you that your rooms will always be exactly how you were used to them at home, that the housekeeping staff will clean exactly the way that you prefer, that you won't have to worry about having to steam out or iron your conference wardrobe. Your dietary needs and meal selection will always be to your liking. There will be no waiting for the elevators or awkward encounters in the elevators or restrooms. And finally, that you will feel just like you're at home for the duration of this conference. In all seriousness though, we hope that this experience will be a welcome respite from this past year and a refreshing opportunity for you all. You're going to hear from a few members of the host committee about how to engage with this conference, but I wanted to offer a few pointers and suggestions as I wrap up my welcome. Y'all make the time. This conference was planned for you. I've been encouraging you all for months now to block this time, and I hope that you will keep those blocks dedicated to this conference and to your learning and professional development. Engage with the conference. Engage with presenters, with our corporate partners, the association meetings, state meetings, committee meetings, and with each other. It's these interactions that make the SEAHO conference experience special. Finally, to coin a phrase, lean in. You will only get out of this conference experience what you're able to put into it. So that might mean you have to challenge yourself at points. Just a couple of other notes, and I'll pass things off to Bree Gates. Make sure that you download a guidebook and are using the guide to connect to the conference. The conference schedule is on both guidebook and the SEAHO website. And please note that if you're having issues accessing a Zoom link that we have provided, the meeting IDs and meeting passcodes for you to alternately access those meetings. If you attempt to get into a session and find that it's full, because we do have caps on some of our meeting spaces, please choose another session, just like you would if we were at an in-person conference and the room was full. If you miss a session, don't worry. We do plan to have a large majority of the conference content available on the SEAHO website after the conference. And finally, something that we're already practicing this morning, please show some grace and patience if things don't go as we have envisioned them. Know that we are still present behind the scenes and are continuing to work to make SEAHO 2021 a positive and memorable experience for you all. Thank you all for being here, and I'm going to hand things over to Bree Gates, our program chair for this year.
Good morning, SEAHO. That was not as fun online, but that's okay. Like Ben said, my name is Bree Gates. I am the program chair for this year, and I'm really excited to be here with all of you. First, a big thank you to all of our presenters this year. We started strong with SEAHO U yesterday. I think it was a really great experience if you were able to attend. And so we're looking forward to carrying that through the rest of this week. Just a couple of reminders, and Ben already hit a couple of them. The schedule is available on the SEAHO website, as well as in the guidebook app and the webpage. If you want to craft a specific experience, we do have program tracks by topic area and experience level in guidebook, so you can kind of choose your own adventure and decide what you want to do. Our amazing moderators for the programs will drop a program evaluation link in the chat at the end of each program session, so please fill that out. It helps us get good information to our presenters, and it also will help us pick the best of SEAHO that will be announced on Friday. Lastly, engage, ask questions, learn a lot, have fun. We will be leaving the program sessions open a little bit after they're over, so that you can ask questions of the presenters or of other attendees, but we will close it before the start of the next session so that you can get to your other presentations. If you have any questions throughout the week, my email is programs@seaho.org. Feel free to reach out. And that's it. Thank you so much for being here. We hope you learn a lot, and we'll see you all in the program rooms.
Hello, everyone. Good morning and happy SEAHO. My name is Katie Lewis. I use she, her, and hers pronouns, and I'm our Corporate Partners Committee Chair. Our corporate partners certainly love and support us as SEAHO, and we certainly love and support our corporate partners. I'm going to share a little bit more, but I do encourage you all to hop around to different virtual booths during our exhibit hall time and or sign up for a private appointment and say hello. If you're an undergraduate or graduate student, if you're a new or an advancing professional, if you're a mid-level professional or a senior housing officer, or if you're just here for the 2021 conference, all of you are now qualified to talk to our corporate partners and engage with our corporate partners. You may not be the decision maker today, although certainly a good number of you are. You very well might be that person later on in your future. And at least today, you do have a voice, perspective, and influence to share back with your respective teams about the products and services that they offer. We have two ways that you can connect with our corporate partners, again, through that virtual exhibit hall time and or through private appointments. And so congratulations, you all received a new best friend, which is our exhibit hall page, and you'll be able to access that through our SEAHO schedule. There's a whole bunch of information on that page. One is how to access our virtual help desk, and this is for both delegates as well as corporate partners. There's PowerPoint slides that we used in yesterday afternoon's presentation. There's a PDF that contains information about each corporate partner. There's an article that gives you really good advice on how to engage with our corporate partners. There's our committee's community creator game card that adds some increased chances of winning prizes throughout this week. And again, the way to access our virtual exhibit halls with our corporate partners and those that are offering private appointments. Each corporate partner has their own section. So during the exhibit hall time, all you have to do is click on that corporate partners logo and it should pop you into their virtual meeting booth. I recommend accessing it through a desktop version or a laptop just in case, but you should be able to access our different corporate partners virtual booths through your phone or tablet. This is choose your own adventure style. So you can start wherever your heart desires. You can start alphabetically. You can start reverse alphabetically from the bottom up. You can start with companies that your school uses. And if you don't know those, ask folks within your department. You can start with products or services that maybe your department is looking to learn more about. You can start with the company whose first letter is the third letter of your dog's name, right? It does not matter where you start on that page. Just start to hop around those different virtual booths. Again, you can talk to them about anything. You can talk to them about their products and services, your experiences within your communities, what you're looking to bring to your schools. You can ask them what other schools are doing on their campuses. You can give them honest feedback. Many of them, this is, again, their first virtual experience and first virtual trade show. So give them some cool tips and tricks on how to use Zoom or Teams. You can ask them how they got their journey. A lot of them started out in a res life background. You can tell them about the strange thing maybe your fur child or your children did the other day, right? The sky's the limit of the things that you can talk with them about. And if all else fails and you're still unsure of what to talk to them about, you can use my favorite excuse ever. So Nayuri, if you're here, unmute yourself. I'm going to ask you to ask me a question.
All right.
Awesome. Okay. So Nayuri, ask me, and you're a corporate partner for just a hot second, right? So ask me what brings me to your virtual booth.
Hi, Miss. I'm reading your name tag, Lewis. What brings you to my virtual booth?
The corporate partners lady told me to do so. All right, so that's me. So you now have an excuse to talk with our corporate partners today. This wouldn't be possible without our corporate partners learning a lot of our technology things and our Zoom and our Teams. So if you experience issues, let us know in the moment, right? Utilize our virtual help desk throughout the exhibit hall time and let us know if a link doesn't work, and we're happy to troubleshoot and connect with that corporate partner. I hear certainly from time and time again that SEAHO is their favorite association. So let's show them what it means to be their favorite, right? Many of them come back year after year, and a lot of them are also new, right? So I empower each of you to connect with at least one corporate partner that you know and love dearly, and connect with one corporate partner that you might not know anything about. Lastly, a lot of them are doing prize drawings, and I'm not going to tell you which one is giving away which things, but connect with them through their virtual booths, connect with them through private appointments. And on Friday before the closing ceremony, we're going to be announcing the winners of each of those different prize drawings. So connect away, have some fun, bebop around to our different virtual booths, and enjoy your conference experience. Yep, and I'm going to name them out loud just in case. So our platinum sponsors, shout out to Folio Furniture, University Loft Company, and Southwest Contract. Shout out to our gold sponsors, Apogee, Brill Company, AUS Smarter Furnishings, Clark Nexon, CSC Service Works, and VMDO Architects, excuse me. And then our silver sponsors, shout out to off-campus partners, Graham Windows, Sky Factor, GradGuard, Savoy, Sleepercraft, AIT, Caldwell and Gregory, and Standard Textile.
And this one is my slide. So in a normal environment, I would ask each one of these people to stand, but I want to recognize past presidents who are with us, who are signed up, I should say. Tony Coffin from 1990, Paul Jahr from 1997, who you can actually see on the screen as well. Shannon Staten from 2000, Steve Stauffer from 2010, Maggie Evans from 2014, Kathy Hobgood from 2016, Jerry Adams from 2017, Chandra Myrick from 2019, and Gavin Roart from 2020, who you can also see on the screen. So thank you to all the past presidents. If you see them, send them a note thanking them for their leadership. I have thanked them a lot for their past leadership with SEAHO. Being that we are in a virtual capacity, we've also got some folks who are visiting us from other regions. So I just wanted to shout some of those folks out. We've got Whitney Watson from Bowie State at Bowie, Maryland. Arnold Lane Jr. from, I think that's Worcester Polytechnic in Worcester, Massachusetts. We got Kiana Stone from DePaul University in Chicago, Illinois. And Mecca Abdul Aziz from Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. So just wanted to shout all those folks out. If there are other people that I have missed in the registration or who have registered late, please charge it to my head and not my heart.
We wanted to let you all know that throughout this conference, during our association-wide meetings, there will be times during each presentation that we will be sharing our annual SEAHO awards. And so our first installment of that is going to happen right now. So I'd like to turn things over to President-elect Dee Allard to talk a little bit about what she and the Awards and Recognition Committee have been doing, and to show you all our first group of award recipients.
Good morning, SEAHO. Glad you're able to join us today, and wanted to thank the Awards and Recognition Committee for a great set of presentations, and thank you for a wonderful group of nominations to select from. So I'll go ahead and turn it back over to the conference team to do the presentation of awards for this morning. Thank you.
Hello, SEAHO. My name is Dylan Rufer, and I serve as an area coordinator at Middle Tennessee State University. On behalf of the SEAHO Awards and Recognition Committee, I am proud to present the Humanitarian Award. Established in 2003, this award recognizes an individual or individuals within SEAHO who have gone above and beyond the call of duty for a student in crisis by demonstrating physical effort, spiritual commitment, or an act of bravery, determination, and courage. I would now like her home institution to share a few excerpts from the recipient's nomination letters.
Good afternoon. So the award that I'm handing out is called the SEAHO Humanitarian Award. This award recognizes an individual or individuals within SEAHO who have gone above and beyond the call of duty for a student in crisis. We were specifically asked not to nominate people related to COVID, did it anyways, and Amanda is our award winner for the SEAHO Humanitarian Award. So Amanda loves the spotlight to be on her, so she is living her best life at the moment, but everybody turn their mic on and congratulate Amanda.
Congratulations! Amanda.
Good morning. My name is Sean Groom, Director of Housing and Residence Life at Virginia Tech. Shortly after SEAHO 2020 in Louisville, the COVID pandemic hit the world. Here at Virginia Tech, our on-campus population went from 9,500 students down to 800 and finally 500 after the Commonwealth mandated that students had to have a reason to stay on campus rather than the desire to do so. When the pandemic struck, I appointed Amanda Egan to become our COVID chief of staff. She really did everything for us. So she was a great communicator, worked with a number of offices on campus, coordinated our move out process for over 9,000 students, and was just a fantastic advocate for both the institution and our students. Amanda has a undergraduate degree in emergency management. This served her incredibly well. Everything from communication to crisis, she led with grace and humility. And then as we moved on from depopulating in the spring to planning for a fall 2021 or fall 2020 in the midst of a pandemic, she did a fantastic job. She helped plan our move-in process, worked very closely with Virginia Department of Health, our health center, our rescue squad, and others. And so I'm happy to be able to award Amanda Egan the Humanitarian Award for SEAHO 2021.
Thanks again, and help me congratulate this year's award winner, Amanda Egan.
Hello, SEAHO. My name is Aubrey Adams, and I'm the Associate Director for Occupancy Management at Louisiana State University. On behalf of the SEAHO Awards and Recognition Committee, I'm pleased to present the Peace Award. SEAHO Peace Award stands for Providing Educational Advocacy for Cultural Excellence. It is presented to a member to honor and recognize outstanding contributions and service to the SEAHO region through the advancement of diversity and multiculturalism. Such advancement can be attributed to advocacy, leadership, mentorship, educational initiatives, and programming. The recipient must have been a member of a SEAHO institution for at least one full academic year and have demonstrated exceptional service in the areas of diversity and multiculturalism on their home campus and/or to SEAHO. Examples include encouraging members of underrepresented groups to become involved in the housing profession, promoting a better understanding of diversity issues, presenting programs on topics of diversity and/or multiculturalism, serving as an ally, mentorship, and supporting the SEAHO Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee.
But here is the first one. This is the Peace Award. And here's what I say. It is with great pleasure that I write this letter of nomination for Kayla Harris to receive the SEAHO Peace Award. I was excited last summer when Kayla offered to participate in a DEI work group I led and collaborated with our Kuhawai intern to develop and implement training sessions for both student and professional staff. She was intentional about creating sessions that would directly connect DEI work to the everyday work of coordinators. With our intern, Kayla developed 3 one-hour sessions: social identity and cultural competency, implicit bias and microaggressions, and active listening and empathic mindset. All sessions were well received by the coordinator team. She also collaborated with another member of the work group to create an online training session for student staff called QTPOC, Intersections of Race, Ethnicity, and LGBTQ+ identities. The work group was significantly impacted by the worldwide protests of the murder of George Floyd and many others, and wanted to make sure that we were also talking about how we have multiple identities that often intersect. The feedback from student and professional staff was overwhelmingly positive. Not only is Kayla committed to the growth and development of students and staff at VT, she is also committed to her own growth and development. She and I have frequent conversations about what it means for her to be a Black woman in a majority white department at an historically white institution that is steeped in racist history. She talks about the challenges of wanting to be her authentic self and how she may be perceived when she is. Excuse me. She talks about looking for mentorship from someone who looks like her and not finding it. She talks about being one of a few and the responsibility that places on her to be a good Black professional. All of the experiences she has, all of the questions she asks, and all of the issues she faces are the reasons why she wants to work with college students. Kayla wants to be there to support all students, particularly those with marginalized identities, so they can be successful while at Virginia Tech. Her commitment to DEI work is truly outstanding. It is for these reasons and many more that Kayla Harris deserves the SEAHO Peace Award. So give it up for Kayla, y'all.
Well done, Kayla. Deserved.
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I have the pleasure of supervising Kayla Harris in her role as a residential learning coordinator at Virginia Tech. And I am thrilled that she won the Peace Award through SEAHO. I nominated her because she is just phenomenal. She is so incredibly passionate about diversity, inclusion, equity, social justice work. She really, truly lives it, breathes it, makes sure that it's part of her every day, the work that she does with her students, with her colleagues. She has developed a number of different initiatives for the department to help us ensure that we're talking about social justice and DEI, and that it's not something that we're letting kind of just slide by or be forgotten. She is so, so deserving of this award, and I couldn't be happier for her.
Please join me in congratulating Kayla Harris of Virginia Tech for this year's Peace Award winner.
Hello, SEAHO. My name is Dee Allard, and I serve as the Executive Director for Housing and Residence Life at Mississippi State University. On behalf of the SEAHO Awards and Recognition Committee, I am proud to present the Charles W. Bean Memorial Service Award. At the 1982 SEAHO Conference, the Charles Bean Memorial Service Award was established in memory of Charles Bean, Director of Housing at the University of Mississippi. This award is presented annually to the individual who is judged to have contributed most to the success of SEAHO this year. I am joined by Ben Wicker, Associate Director of Residence Education at Georgia Southern University and our 2021 Conference Chair and Lead Nominator for this recipient, who will share a few excerpts from the recipient's nomination letters. Ben?
Hello, I would like to share a few excerpts from the recipient's nomination letters. This person is a true workhorse. This person is like a duck on water, perfectly still and calm on top, but all the while kicking those legs like no one has ever seen. They do the work of SEAHO in a quiet manner and expect no accolades in return. They're resourceful, take initiative, and hold their peers accountable. After the annual conference, when COVID began to clearly affect our organization and its members and institutions, this person immediately jumped into action to assure every one of our financial solvency and take care of our needs. Here are a few of those accomplishments. They worked with the executive board, the host committee, and various contracted vendors to navigate once seemingly insignificant contract clauses. They navigated the dissolution of SPE and communicated with the leaders in SWCUHO, SACSA, and the SPE board to properly figure out financial agreement conclusion. They advocated for and updated the leadership manual to keep 7 years of SEAHO financial documents on hand in accordance with best practices. They led us through record legacy fund contribution and disbursement, while also working out to flesh out the new treasurer-elect position. They made budget cuts as necessary to cut extraneous spending, allowing the association to offer a virtual conference on a large scale with zero cost to membership, all while keeping SEAHO thriving with a great conference experience without dipping into our savings or reserve funds. And they worked with the conference coordinator, myself, to convert SEAHO 2021 from an in-person conference in Charleston, South Carolina, to a virtual format. They have been front and center in advocating for us as we've negotiated our contracts in Charleston, coming out of the deal with no financial penalty, saving SEAHO close to $200,000 in penalties.
Serving as the SEAHO's treasurer is not an easy task to be taken lightly, nor one which many would choose to pursue. Shylin has never faltered in her service in this role. She works hard to keep our finances in order and to keep our association leadership informed and advised of our financial status. As such, Shylin has been a tremendous champion and trainer for Two-Step. Please join me in congratulating this year's award winner, Shylin Scott from William and Mary, as this year's Charles W. Bean Memorial Service Award winner.
Hi, SEAHO. On behalf of Dee Allard, President-elect of SEAHO, it's my great honor to present the plaque for the Charles W. Bean Memorial Service Award to Shylin Scott for her incredible and dedicated and long-term service to SEAHO. Both her SEAHO and William and Mary tribe are completely proud of her. Congratulations. Thank you.
Join me again to congratulate Dr. Shylin Scott as our 2021 Charles W. Bean Memorial Service Award winner.
Good morning, SEAHO. How is everybody doing today? I'm just going to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about the Akuhai Foundation and what we'll be doing for the rest of this week for the conference. My name is Liz Ingrayo, and I serve as the SEAHO rep, the SEAHO Foundation rep for this year. So for those of you who don't know, the Akuhai Foundation helps to serve and provide programs, opportunities, and a number of resources for you as housing professionals within the field. Here on this slide are just a couple of ways in which the foundation has helped to support our membership throughout this year and beyond. Between research programs, professional development opportunities, and different resources, everything from globalization efforts, talking stick, DEI initiatives, and much more, the foundation is here to help you continue to be successful and to leave your legacy on our profession. The next slide will show a little bit about the numbers in terms of who has contributed to the Akuhai Foundation and how all of this is possible with your generous support. So specifically from SEAHO, we currently have 21 active members that are in an individual major donor contribution pledge. And we have 29 members that are in a non-IMD pledge, which is a pledge that they give a set amount of money every year. And again, it is from these generous donations that we are able to help you all continue. So what I want to do right now is talk a little bit about the campaigns that will happen here at the conference this week. So first I want to jam a little bit because it's early and I don't know if you can hear this, but we could jam for a little bit. Okay, it's 9:30. I wanted to play some music. So happy birthday, Akuhai. So this year is the 70th anniversary of the incorporation of Akuho, as well as the first Akuho conference that was held back in 1951. And so with that, we are launching our 70th anniversary campaign. With this campaign, we are looking to help support specifically strategic initiatives for diversity, equity, and inclusion, our HBCU and school initiatives, as well as a new program that's going to launch for a live-in professionals experience and how to help shape them and grow in the field as they continue on as new and mid-level professionals. So with the campaign, we're launching our 1951 club. You see the QR code on the screen, so if you want to take a picture to save it later, you can. As Akuho, I love to party and have swag. Members who join the 1951 club will be recognized at our annual ACE conference this summer. There are 3 ways you can get involved in the 1951 club. You can donate $70 for 12 months, $19.51 for 12 months, or just a one-time $19.51 donation. You will receive a pin and other swag that will be surprises throughout the summer. And we want to make sure that those of you who are interested in joining but maybe don't know how, that this is a feasible way to do so. The other thing with the 1951 Club is that you can nominate on behalf of someone else. So if you would like to make a pledge for a mentee, for a colleague or a peer as a recognition to help show support, they too can become a member of the club and join us as we celebrate summer at ACE. Next slide. The other way you can do is our SEAHO Legacy Fund. So for those of you who don't know, SEAHO has an endowment fund that specifically goes to initiatives that happen in SEAHO. For those of you who may have attended or participated in our social media events this past fall, we were able to sponsor 30 people to attend the Akuhai Fall Conference Series through a number of trivia and other ways that we gave back to the And so with that, we were able to donate $2,850 towards that. We were also able to sponsor a member to complete the Certificate of Occupancy Management and a member to attend the Architecture Series. So specifically for the SEAHO Legacy Fund, we are bringing back the raffle. Thank you to Folio Furniture for donating a $250 gift card. So if you want to get a raffle ticket, the QR code for that specifically is on there. It will take you to an auctioneer site where you need to register and you can purchase raffle tickets. We'll be announcing the winner at the closing session on Friday, but we hope that you're able to participate and help give this year to help the profession. The last way to give is to help support our Parthenon Award. Our Parthenon is an award that's given to the pillars of our profession. They are those who have served Akuhuai, their regions, and their profession well. And this is the highest way that we can nominate and recognize them. And so we do have 5 people slated to earn the Parthenon, but as you all may or may not know, it is a secret. So if you would like to know who our Parthenon nominees are this year, come see me at the booth. Next slide. This week. So I'll be hosting virtual booth hours today after this session, tomorrow and Friday. Come spin the wheel. We're having a free raffle. So if you can't donate but want to still have some fun, come and see me. We'll spin the wheel and you can get a gift card or a raffle ticket to win a fabulous prize. If you have any questions, need to make your annual pledge, or just come say hi because I don't want to be in the room by myself, please come on in and check us out. And I will see you all later this week. Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm Stephanie Carter and I have the privilege of doing a resolution of appreciation for Alan Thomas. Whereas Alan Franklin Thomas served as a housing and residence life professional from May 14, 2011 to January 14, 2021, and whereas Alan supported the goals for the Southeastern Association of Housing Officers through his leadership, support, and service in his role as manager for the HRL logistics team at the University of West Georgia, where he worked tirelessly to improve the lives of countless residents and student workers. And whereas Alan's distinguished leadership, strong work ethic, smile, kindness, energy, and tenacity to get things done enriched those fortunate enough to know and work with him. And whereas Alan was an enthusiastic fan of the University of Georgia and NASCAR, an avid golfer, an exceptional family man, and loving father to his 2 sons, Burton and Jared, which he spoke so much about during the UWG's HRL Daily Huddle each morning. And whereas Alan tragically passed away on January 14, 2021 due to COVID-19 pandemic, and whereas Alan was a dedicated member of a SEAHO institution whose campus community mourns the loss of a valued colleague, be it therefore resolved that the Governing Council of the Southeastern Association of Housing Officers, on behalf of its membership, wishes to express its sincere appreciation and highest esteem to Alan Franklin Thomas for his exemplary contributions to our association and our field. The association will immortalize Alan in the Hall of Legends in our field. Thank you.
Good morning, Siho. I have the pleasure to read a resolution of appreciation for Patricia Leonard. Patricia passed away in 2020 after a long service at University of North Carolina at Wilmington. Whereas Patricia Leonard led a housing residence life program with distinction for 37 years, and whereas Pat supported the goals for the Southeastern Association of Housing Officers through decades of leadership, support, and service to the North Carolina Housing Officers, South Atlantic affiliate of college and university residence halls through program presentation, mentorships of scores of housing professionals, keynote lectures, and consultations of housing programs within the UNC system and across the region. And whereas Pat also promoted the housing residence life profession through leadership and involvement at the state and national level, and service and senior leadership through her former role as the Associate Dean of Students, and most recently as Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. And whereas Pat's tenure as leader was characterized by steadfast resilience, excellence in her work, unwavering dedication to her beloved campus, and a profound affinity for students. And whereas Pat's career positively impacted the lives of countless student leaders, housing professionals, and colleagues across the region, be it therefore resolved that the Governing Council of the Southeastern Association of Housing Officers, on behalf of its memberships, wishes to express its sincere appreciation and highest esteem to Patricia Leonard for her exemplary contributions to our association and our field. Please join me in a round of applause and recognition for Pat.
Hello again, everybody. We are running tight on time, and so I'm going to definitely shorten my introduction of our keynote speakers. Please know that you can find their detailed biographies on the guidebook and our website, so please take some time to read through those things. I do want to share a couple of thoughts on what you're going to hear from our panelists. In the early discussions that Bree Gates and I had about the keynote for this conference and in incorporating the conference theme, Anchored by History and Creating New Legacies, I felt we had an important opportunity. I wanted to explore the idea of providing some perspective on the way our profession's past has informed the work we presently do and will influence the future through the lens of a multi-generational panel. And those perspectives are what you will see and hear in this year's keynote panelist remarks. Three SEAHO colleagues representing 3 different generations and professional experiences will share their thoughts on the past, present, and future of our field of housing and residence life. In a quick introduction, I would like to introduce Ms. Stephanie Skerlak, a community director from Mississippi State University, who has just recently, this past year, begun her professional journey. Dr. Stephanie Carter, who you just heard from, who's the director of state reps for SEAHO, but is also the director of residence life at Wake Forest University, and a proud mom and very active individual and a ton of fun to watch. And then the final panelist is Dr. Paul Jahr, who is retired from a position as the Associate Vice President for Student Affairs at Georgia College and State University, someone who I've known for a great deal of time now, and is just the accolades abound from both SEAHO and from ACU Hawaii. Paul is extremely well respected and noted in our field, and is always gracious with his time and his involvement with SEAHO, and even will make time for struggling doctoral candidates like myself. So we hope that that you will enjoy this time, and at this time I'm going to pass the lectern, as it is, over to Ms. Skerlak.
When you think about the past, particularly of higher education and student affairs, what do you think of? Do you think of Bologna? Or maybe you are like me and instantly think of Harvard, 1636. Maybe you think of the Butter Rebellion or the idea of in loco parentis or the Morrill Act. When you think of the past, do you think of the history? A timeline which has propelled us throughout the ages to the present day. These historical moments are without much argument a foundation, a piece of the puzzle, one part of something much larger. When I first heard that I was going to be a piece of the SEAHO keynote, I felt that nervous, anxious, excited energy we've all felt at least once in our lives. When I found out I was going to be speaking on the past, I instantly wished that I had paid more attention in my history of higher ed course. I'm sure Dr. Boyd wishes I would have too. However, the more the team chatted about the idea of a keynote anchored in the membership, the more I came to the realization that the past is not simply a history lesson. Thankfully, the past is a culmination of much more. When I think of history, I think of those events that we remember from our textbooks. When I think of the past, I think of the lessons that have shaped our roles as student affairs practitioners and the people who laid a foundation for which we continue to build up the profession from. So, what are those lessons, right? What made us pivot? What were those localized moments that created ripples large enough to become waves that have engulfed us in the need for progress? As I began to attempt to answer these questions myself, I struggled to find the right words. How do I describe that we are a resilient group who find ways to cope with heartbreak and hurt, navigate challenge and chaos, and learn from what can perhaps be best described as, well, the things that go wrong. There's no exhaustive list of things that have gone wrong on our college campuses, although we can all think of a few that have shaken our profession to the core. While we cannot claim as a group to know all of the hurt, we as an association can recognize what comes out of those moments. We feel those effects daily, and we learn ways to prevent what was previously unimaginable from, hopefully, being repeated. Please do not misconstrue this message. Not everything that has changed our landscape is negative. For as many things that go wrong, there are, thankfully, more that go right. Students have uplifted their peers' voices. Staff members have stood in solidarity against injustice. College campuses have created offices and departments dedicated to fostering inclusion. Community members and stakeholders have opened their arms and their minds and stood beside our campuses, offering support and driving home our mission. And our policies and practices have changed in favor of our human beings. We have learned and struggled and grown and persevered. If I have learned anything from my short time in this field, it is that out of reactiveness, we learn ways to become proactive. We learned that behavioral intervention teams are valuable assets to the safety and security of our college campuses, and that we are stronger through collaboration across divisions. We learned that free speech is tricky and cannot necessarily be confined to zones, and even though it's sometimes difficult and downright messy, we have a duty to uphold it. We learned that college campuses cannot remove themselves from the rest of the nation, even during tumultuous election years and civil unrest. We learned that Zoom can be a powerful way to connect, and that being physically distant does not have to mean that we're emotionally distant. And above all, we learned that we must create welcoming, safe environments for our students to call home. Through laws and acts and reporting structures and departments and offices and all of the places full of humans just like us, we have been those ripples. We have made waves that alter the landscape. When we think about these great feats of the past, those moments that have changed the course of higher education throughout history, we are naturally curious about the people who made those changes happen. Our minds go to the greats, university presidents, founders of organizations and associations, champions for students and their rights, barrier breakers, change agents, people who, although not perfect, made the mountains we stand on today taller, yet easier to climb. As a profession focused on the people, we owe a lot to the folks who shaped the work that we do. But the past isn't just about those folks that we see in our history books or on memorial walls or those who have awards named in their honor. The past is also about those who have helped prepare the next group, us, to do good and to do well. So take a moment with me this morning and think of the people who have shaped you, those folks who have been ripples or waves in your life. Think of mentors, colleagues, supervisors, and even students. Who are those folks who have helped you become who you so thankfully are? There are many people who have helped me find my soul, even a few on this Zoom call right now. Supervisors who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Mentors who loved me enough to challenge me, and friends who have continued to pour into me when honestly, I'm not quite sure that I've always deserved it. There are students who have shared their lives with me, who have been vulnerable and reminded me why I show up to work every day, and colleagues always willing to play board games and talk about anything other than those tough days at work. Think of those people in your life. These are the folks who have altered your landscape and in turn led you on a journey that has brought you here with us this morning. You see, the past does not define us. We are not doomed to repeat history so long as we continue to learn from it. The past does not define us, but rather it shapes us. As we build upon the foundations laid by those who come before us and continue to keep with us those ripples of change that have overwhelmed us in the need to progress, we can look to create new legacies of success, positivity, growth, optimism, and progress. As we come together, albeit virtually, to celebrate 57 years of SEAHO, I encourage you to remember the history that has made us who we are, as people, as practitioners, and as an association. As the conference theme suggests, as we understand the ways in which we are anchored in history, we are free to create new legacies. Thank you.
Hey, everybody. I'm the other Stephanie. I have a chance to talk about our present day work. So I want to talk about creating a legacy while leading through times of disruption or uncertainty. Present day work in residence life and housing, it's a whole pandemic. Literally, not just a pandemic. It's business tire on top and leggings on the bottom. It's social unrest. It's states pretending COVID doesn't exist. It's trying to look cute through a mask. It's mass-to-mass meetings. It's all or none of these things. Who knows? Either way you want to describe it, it's our present work is full of disruption, uncertainty, and after a full year of this pandemic, we still have no idea how far-reaching its ripple effects might be once it's finally said and done. What we do know is leading in times of disruption or uncertainty is a must because uncertain times will come. There are a few things we need to remember in times of uncertainty or not. Leadership is a gift that needs to be given, not held on to. More importantly, leadership is stewardship, and you must remain cognizant of your position and the authority of what and who you are stewards of. When you keep this at the forefront of your mind, you will see this power wisely because while leadership is stewardship and a gift, it's also temporary. When you view your leadership or influence as temporary, you are far more likely not to spend it on yourself, but on those you serve. All right, let's talk more about our present day work. What you're about to hear is a mix of my own lessons learned, because there's been quite a few, some good advice shared, and some plain old common sense. Use what you will and pass on the rest. Lesson 1, communicate often and effectively. As a leader, you sit in spaces your staff cannot. It is both your duty to speak up for them and to pass information down to them. In times of disruption, you can never communicate too much. Even if you think someone has heard the information, chances are someone else has not. When people feel left in the dark, they feel undervalued and frankly not appreciated, and no one likes that. Also, it's not just about communicating, it's about speaking the language of the audience you're in front of. We email a lot, a lot. It's almost like a professional love language for us. However, this is not typically the love language of our students or our student staff. So be mindful of how we are communicating so you can actually hit the mark and get your message across. Also, hear me when I say this. Your voice is more important than your words. Your staff need to see you. Secretly, they want to see you. As a leader, you should bring a sense of calmness. If you don't, work on that. Like really work on that. A second lesson is help others lead. You cannot, nor should you, be leading in times of uncertainty all by yourself. Your job as a leader is to make more leaders, share the wealth. You cannot be everything to everyone in your organization. Therefore, the more help you have, the better. As a leader, you should be asking, how am I engaging others in leadership roles? But also, as a leader, you should be asking, how can I help in different ways within my department? There's so much work to be done during this pandemic. Basically, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. Don't wait for your supervisor to ask for help. Jump in and ask how you can help. Take ownership where you can. Focus on core values. Even when the sands are shifting under your feet, you need to stay rooted and grounded to something as a leader. The mission, vision, values of your department or institution should still guide the decisions you make. Predictability, even during a pandemic, is necessary. The stability of being able to trace our decisions back to our core values can provide a sense of calm, even in unprecedented times, and your staff both needs and craves that from you. The next lesson, know when to pivot. It's not just for basketball courts or tables. This year, if not all of us, held virtual RA trainings, virtual interview days, hiring events. We had our RAs doing virtual connections on socially distant initiatives. I mean, we even waved goodbye at the end of Zoom meetings like it's the most normal thing to do in the world because we all had to pivot and readjust. We found new ways to connect with others because we had to. We found out real quick that our old ways of doing this work weren't COVID compatible, and you either welcomed that realization or you fought it tooth and nail and still found yourself conceding. Next, it's important to be humble, be honest, and stay humble. Repeat after me. It's okay to not have all the answers. Sometimes we just don't. So much of our work these days can change with a COVID surge or a change in policy to try and prevent a COVID surge. It can be a lot to manage or keep up with. Clarity is the next best thing to certainty. As humans, we crave certainty. We want to know everything will be okay. As a leader, you can't promise that, but you can and should provide clarity. Bottom line, I wholeheartedly believe it's better to be humble than be humbled. Next, it's important to demonstrate grit and resilience. Regardless of how long you've been in this field, if you're hearing this message, then you've undoubtedly demonstrated some form of resilience or grit, especially in this past year. I know this because for the last year, in some cases longer, we have all been professionally sprinting and collectively holding our breath as we continue to manage this pandemic. And to say it is not sustainable, yet you've been sustaining it, is a testament in and of itself. As a leader, we do our best to demonstrate grit because inspiring confidence in others is part of your job as a leader, but it takes its toll. Remember this, when life knocks you flat, one day, because it will, jump up, clap your hands over your head, and call it a burpee. If you know me, you knew it had to come up at some point in this conversation. Next, take care of yourself first. Self-care isn't selfish, it's mandatory. Setting boundaries is essential. Unplugging from your email and doing something specifically for you actually keeps you sane. Let's face it, COVID came for our holidays, our celebrations, our conference travel, our professional processes, and how we use our free time. It's high time for us to reclaim our time. Take the PTO, take the walk, lift the weights, just breathe like a good deep belly breath. Do whatever it is for you to feel like yourself and not the pandemic version of yourself. Then next, you got to take care of your people. In times of uncertainty, find ways to focus on your people. Your staff, your team, they need your support, guidance, and reassurance. Remember, they want you, your voice, and clarity. Find ways to foster genuine connections with them. Set aside time for meaningful, purposeful, personal connections. My final thoughts. I said this earlier, but it bears repeating. Your leadership and authority are temporary. Your current staff will move on due to graduation, getting new jobs, or for many other reasons. Therefore, the authority you hold over them won't last forever, so use it wisely. Also, your legacy doesn't just happen. You create it. In times of disruption, uncertainty, and when all is going well, your actions today affect your future in this field and beyond. Create a meaningful legacy. Lead with the end in mind. Lead with boldness, strength, and kindness. Our work today and society in general needs more people willing to extend grace and show mercy. Working and living through a pandemic is not easy. I'll say that again. Working and living through a pandemic is not easy. Think good thoughts of others, lead with integrity, and do your part to create a more caring and welcoming world, personally and professionally. The next generation of housing and residence life professionals needs this and you. Thank you.
I thank you for this opportunity to speak to our membership. In the next few minutes, I hope to provide some thoughts that will prompt your thinking and provide you with some ideas to stimulate discussion with your colleagues in the days and weeks to come. When it comes to the future, my crystal ball is a bit cloudy. I'm no Nostradamus, but I have given it some thought, and I would like to suggest what the future may bring, along with some behaviors and strategies you may consider employing. I want to begin by suggesting themes I believe will drive what will be taking place in the years to come. Many of the things you're currently doing, you will be doing differently and with fewer resources. Things are changing and will continue to change at a rapid rate. We have proved that we're capable of physically pivoting quickly and accomplishing things that we never imagined we could have done before. Many changes previously considered off limits are in fact quite implementable and potentially beneficial in the long term. There will be growing uncertainties in terms of future enrollments, revenue to support the budgetary needs of institutions and their various entities, including auxiliaries and housing in particular, and changes in the demographics of the population you will be serving in your respective institutions. The 17 to 21-year-old target market that has been our institution's bread and butter for many years may not be the future for most of our institutions. There will be a need for us to focus on a new majority, the lifelong learner, as higher education institutions expand their focus on retooling and post-baccalaureate education. There will be no going back to the old normal when the pandemic is over. There will be the next normal and the next normal after that. Get prepared for what during my career I affectionately called Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. The great concerns over the magnitude of student debt and how to decrease the cost of the college experience is going to accelerate. In all aspects of your housing operation, the future will call upon you to be more flexible, creative, and responsive than ever. The pandemic has demonstrated that remote or online learning can work, and while not ideal from many perspectives, will provide a major delivery method for higher education in the future. How housing and residence life respond to these developments will have a major impact on the future of the on-campus living experience. The various pandemics our society is experiencing now, the medical, the social, the economic, the political, will require that you reimagine what you do, what is most important, and how you do it. The future will continue to bring questions about the value that you and your residential experience provide to the mission of your institutions and the higher ed experience in general. Quite often, the knowledge that the general public has about what it is you and our profession do is very limited. Whether you are in a live-in position or the executive director of your department, I would suggest one way of describing what you do to the general public is by calling their attention to their perception of the roles a conductor of a symphony orchestra or the mayor of a small city play. The importance of the structured and unstructured learning opportunities provided through the on-campus experience will be tested, and you will need to be able to demonstrate the value of those opportunities to both your institutional leadership and future students and parents you hope to attract. If you are not doing it now, I urge you to become a strategic partner throughout your campus, working to educate other individuals, departments, and programs about the role your residential experience can promote and enhance their efforts. In an era of diminishing resources, ways to partner and support one another will be critical. Recognize the importance of collaboration, cooperation, and communication between your institution and the community in which you reside, commonly referred to as the town-gown relationship, as it will become more and more important as time goes on. The workforce and those seeking our student affairs as a career will continue to evolve. For many reasons, the historic attractiveness of working in higher education, student affairs, and housing and residence life in particular will continue to be challenged. Your recruitment and hiring processes will continue to evolve. Many have been questioning the value of national placement forums such as TPE and OPE and others that bring together prospective candidates and employers for initial interviews and recruitment. The cost for both institutions and candidates is considerable, financially, in time expended, and the cost-benefit return on investment is questionable. The pandemic has forced the cancellation of the face-to-face TPE for a second year, and now OPE this year as well. Yet employers have managed to fill positions and candidates have managed to find jobs. More recently, what was once unheard of, candidates accepting a position without ever visiting the campus and employers utilizing a totally virtual interview process are becoming more common. As this continues, employers will need to adapt the ways they learn all they want from a candidate, and candidates will need to do likewise. Be thinking about how you market and sell your position, campus, institution, and local community without the traditional face-to-face interactions. To cut to the chase, I believe we may soon see the demise of the face-to-face TPE and OPE experiences. Let's think about professional development for yourself and your colleagues for a moment. Many of us have championed the importance of leaving campus and traveling to a conference or workshop as the way we prefer to secure and experience our professional development. One just needs to look at this virtual SEAHO experience to realize that professional development, like face-to-face instruction, can be done virtually. At this moment, we can point to many things that we miss by not being physically gathered together in one location. The socializing, meeting new colleagues, and reconnecting with old ones, impromptu conversations and networking. But just you wait. Ways to facilitate and enhance these experiences through virtual conferencing are going to be created. The cost associated with virtual professional development and programming can be significantly lower than our traditional approaches. Elimination of the expenditures for travel, lodging, meals, and time away from campus and home are enticing in times of diminishing resources. From my perspective, a key philosophical approach for success in this area is that you must take responsibility for initiating these efforts and for taking personal responsibility for your own growth and professional development. The importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which has finally begun to gain traction within our society, will continue and take a more prominent place in our work. Our housing profession and our SEAHO organization in particular have a history of being champions of DEI. The future will be brighter if we all continue this advocacy and help others appreciate the value and benefits it provides for all of us. As for SEAHO, utilize it throughout the year, not just during the annual conference, as your forum for networking, sharing ideas and experiences, reaching out and learning from one another. Technology provides us with excellent vehicles to support these efforts and will continue to get more sophisticated in the future. The future of SEAHO will be, as it always has been, found in the membership. You who are following my generation and those who will follow in your footsteps will determine how SEAHO will grow and develop. Remember our past, build upon the present, and keep looking towards the future as you plan ways to meet the ever-evolving challenges it will bring. SEAHO has had a very successful and productive past, but its future isn't guaranteed. You must make it happen. Never forget the future of SEAHO is in your hands, all of your hands. Whether you're a senior housing officer, a mid-manager, an entry-level professional, or a graduate student. Because the physical facilities where the students and some of you live that you help to operate and for which you have oversight will be a key factor for the future, I want to share just a few thoughts in this area as well. Whatever your place in the housing organization, you cannot ignore the role that facilities play. The future is going to call for a rapid rethinking of how the physical campus functions. The use of all space will be evaluated, including that dedicated for student housing. The facilities continue to age. Needed facility renewal needs will continue to grow, as will the life cycle issues for all building programs and systems. All of this will require a tremendous amount of financial resources at a time when financial pressure will continue to expand. For the last 15 years, just as took place in the 1960s and 70s, there's been a tremendous investment of money and time into the renovation, refurbishment, and construction of housing facilities in many institutions around the country, including many of yours. Along with all the bells and whistles deemed necessary to meet the desires and expectations of students and parents, as well as to successfully compete with the explosion of privatized facilities sprouting up around your campuses, has come major debt obligations that will need to be met, and addressing this will present a major challenge. A challenge not only in terms of generating the revenue, but also in terms of having housing leadership at the table when institutional leaders make decisions on how they will proceed. Having a place at the table and being able to share your expertise to help guide those decisions is not a unique challenge. We faced it 25 years ago. I encourage you to begin to design your vision for the future and engage in serious and prolonged conversations with your colleagues and the various constituencies you serve and work with before others define your future for you. In closing, as you plan and approach the future, never take anything for granted. I encourage you to keep in mind the importance of what I refer to as the C words as you determine how you'll conduct yourself and where you will employ your best efforts. These would be communication, cooperation, collaboration, creativity, civility, compassion, commitment, compromise, and confidence. The future is uncertain, but I do know that it will be important that you and your colleagues step forward and assume leadership roles as your department, institution, our association, and the profession moves forward. Like it or not, ready or not, the future is just around the corner. As I leave you, I would like to remind you that yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Let's all be glad in it. Be well, stay safe, and make the most of the opportunities that are before you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jahr, Dr. Cotter, and Ms. Skerlak for your impactful and insightful perspectives. We appreciate you all taking the time and having the courage to share your thoughts with our association. I'm certain that every single person listening resonated with at least one thing you shared, but for many, and myself included, I'm sure it resonated very deeply. We hope that our panelists' words will not be the final word, but the beginning of the discussion around salient and pertinent topics. It's now time to head to the first program session. And if you have already, then obviously you're not hearing this. But we're going to try and move things back up to schedule. So please go ahead and jump over. We know that there have been some issues. If you're having issues, please go to the website and click onto the Zoom help link, and they can help you to navigate some of those issues. Please continue to be patient and let us know if you're having any issues. Also, if you'd like to follow up with the panelists regarding this particular, regarding their remarks, there's a session that starts on that right after this. So thank you all. We look forward to seeing you throughout the rest of today and the rest of the conference. Bye, everybody.